Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the presentation today. So we're going to talk about, the theme of OpenWorld is obviously autonomous everything. So we're going to talk about today about intelligent automation and how DXC is really driving the market forward for Oracle technologies and others across our customer stack and our customer base. And really groundbreaking, forethought and thought leadership. Really want to try and introduce you to the topic and then how we're applying it to Oracle applications and technology to transform our customers. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the prime speaker, Greg Dietrich from DXC, VP of Operations and Technology Excellence.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. As David has said, today we are going to talk about automation and intelligent automation and how we believe you can apply digital automation to fuel your digital innovation. So let's just talk about that for a moment. Digital innovation. I think everybody here has digital at the front and center of their day-to-day jobs, of their business models. In fact, looking through the conference agenda, I think the term digital was probably in the abstracts and in the titles of all the presentations upwards of 1,000 times. So what is digital? And more importantly, what does it mean for you as an individual consumer and for your companies, whether it's a large company, a small company, a supplier, a provider? What does digital mean? So at DXC, we're working with our 6,000 global customers on their digital transformations. And in doing that, we've been able to kind of suss out a couple of common themes that we see across digital and the digital transformation journeys that our customers are on. First and foremost, we see digital bringing a pace of change, an exponential amount of change to the businesses that we support and our customers. With that change also comes exponential opportunities to kind of reshape and disrupt the market. So some of the common themes that we're seeing from our customers is, first and foremost, in the digital era, consumers are leading digital lifestyles. And I think you all see that in your daily lives. Second, we're seeing digital native companies really disrupt industries. They're attracting more and more of these digital consumers, and they're reshaping and radically shifting business practices in industries. They're making technology the center or the core of their business processes. And as that's happening, we're also seeing a need for a radical skills shift and a cultural change. So new skills and capabilities are truly required to transform. And then lastly, what we're seeing is that unprecedented need for business change, for us to adapt, to experiment, to be iterative in our approach. The other things that we're seeing in working with our customers is that across all customers, again, whether it's a large company, a small company, mid-market, whether it's commercial, government, nonprofit, they all have an aspiration. And again, three kind of key themes of the aspirations, the digital aspirations that they have. First and foremost, they're looking to simplify the customer experience. Secondly, they're looking to become innovators within their industries and applying these new digital skills, these digital technologies, these platforms to become innovative in their space. And they really want to become truly digital-first organizations. Now, in most cases, most of our customers are not native digital organizations. So in order for you to get there, and if you want to become truly digital first, you have to be on a transformation journey, a digital transformation journey. But what does that mean? And where do you start? So we've come up with some frameworks on digital transformation because digital to us has some common truths to it, but it also alters and brings different ways of value creations to companies. So we see kind of three truths and then kind of a value chain made up of four core elements and core pillars of where value comes in the digital space. So the three truths that we see are, first and foremost, as we talked about, consumers being more in control. Secondly, we see these new technologies and these emerging platforms disrupting value chains. Thirdly, we see the winners being companies that are able to exploit those platforms and those technologies, and doing so not in a just technology-driven approach, but one that's focused on business outcomes and recognizes the importance that the skills and the people within the organization play in making that journey. So those are the truths that we see. In terms of where value creation comes from, again, we talked about that rapid continuous change being a key aspect of where value is being driven from. And that circle of continuous change is underpinned by four main pillars. First and foremost, that customer experience, right? Very personalized, hyper-personalized experiences, contextually aware, multiple channels, whether it's voice, chat, text, proactive and predictive, kind of anticipating how users are interacting with technology and conducting business. Second is business process transformation. So again, leveraging these new digital tools and technologies to create agile processes, highly automated, more straight-through processing, more proactive and predictive. Thirdly, we see business model innovation. Again, leveraging these technologies and these platforms in a configurable, componentized way, in an agile and flexible way to bring value to the table. And at the center, we talk about what we call the digital core. Because make no mistake, whether you're a net native digital company or a company that's on a digital transformation, you can't build a digital ecosystem on a poor foundation. So the digital core is really important to us. And for us, the digital core is where things like data and business processes, so technology and analytics and business processes all come together. Highly enabled by emerging technologies like cloud and as-a-service technologies and platforms, but giving us that insight, the more real-time data that's at our fingertips, using that to take data and turn it into insight and decisions. So that's what we see as a framework for digital transformation and where value comes from. So again, but where do we start? Our advice and the journey that we take our customers through, we start with the digital core. So our belief is that you can really get a lot of value out of digitizing your operations, and digital operations centered on the digital core is a great place to start on your digital transformation journey. So tackle the core first. A good way to tackle that digital core and digital operations is by applying intelligent automation, unlock those sources of business value, and continuously repeat that. So it's a cycle, a continuous cycle of improvement. So how do we do that? So at DXC, the way we approach intelligent automation and attacking digital operations and driving intelligent automations into digital operations is with DXC Bionics. So Bionics for us is not solely about automation technologies and automation for automation's sake. Bionics to us is really centered on three key foundational elements. First and foremost is analytics and AI. Using that data that's at our fingertips, mining that operational data to get value, to get insights that we could turn into value. The second is leaned out operational processes, leaned out organizational structures, ensuring we're eliminating any of the waste and inefficiency that operational data mining and the data is showing us. And then the third part is automation. And for us, the automation and the IP around automation is less around the frameworks and the technologies driving automation, but is more around the IP, the integration, the ecosystems, and the content, the automation content that fuels straight-through processing and efficiency. So that's what DXC Bionics is to us. We've been applying Bionics at scale across our 6,000 customers, and we've come up with a framework and an approach to bring Bionics to our customer base with various different points of entries, whether it's a full managed service solution with Bionics built into it, or an advisory and transformation service where we can take you on a journey to more intelligent automation and efficiency. That proven approach that we've taken and deployed at scale is really focusing on people, process, and technology, but is first and foremost centered on outcomes and the business outcomes that we want to achieve. So on the people side, I mentioned the leaned out operational processes, the leaned out operating model, what we call our industrialized delivery model. So a highly leveraged, highly integrated, streamlined way of working. On the process side, we talk about ensuring that this process of leveraging the data, mining that data, getting insights out of that, working in a more agile DevOps type of mindset is a key part of how we drive a digital transformation. No longer these large waterfall type projects. And then on the technology side, as I mentioned, in today's day and age, we have these digital platforms and these digital tools and technologies, but it's less around the technologies themselves and more around how we're integrating them together. So it's a very open, flexible, modular way of working, leveraging the data that's out there, the insights that we can get in an open and transparent way, and in engineering solutions based upon our IP in addition to our partners and with our customers, especially when we're working with our large enterprise customers. And the business outcomes that we generally see from applying this approach are 30 to 45% cost savings over a 2-year time horizon. And it's not just about efficiency and cost. We also see better service level attainment, more consistent and repeatable delivery of services, elimination of some risks that are out there when manual intervention and people are involved in delivery of processes, increased compliance scores as well. So we have very flexible points of entry into these solutions and how we apply those to our customers. The results that we're seeing are significant. Some examples of the performance gains we've seen across our 6,000 customer base include upwards of 70 to 80% reduction in incidents and automation of the remaining aspects of the incidents that we handle. We've seen and been able to apply RPA across a wide variety of business process transactions, as well as IT operations transactions, to reduce transaction processing times upwards of 65%. We've freed up across a delivery organization of 120,000 strong people globally. We've freed up over 10% of that employee base, about 12,000, because of this approach and the automation that we've been able to bring to bear at scale across our delivery engine. One of the case studies and proof points we have here is from a large German energy company, Uniper, where across their application operations and infrastructure operations, we were able to work together and significantly reduce down their incidents upwards of 70%. And for the incidents that remained, we were able to drive automation of those incidents using RBA and other techniques, runbook automation and other techniques, upwards of 25%. That enabled them to take some of their run costs and redirect that towards some of their forward-looking digital transformation projects. One more example of a customer that we worked with on this, freeing up run cost and shifting that towards the digital projects and the way forward, was a large international retailer. So they were at a point a couple of years ago where we were providing IT infrastructure support for their US-based operations, application services for their European operations, and they announced a large merger and acquisition. That kind of pivotal moment and milestone enabled us to step back together and say, how are we going to integrate this new merger and drive more efficient, effective digital ways of operating? So it started with fixing some of the issues they were having today in their European operations. We applied common, consistent process and operating model, our integrated delivery model. We leveraged more analytics and were able to use a lot of the data that was out there, but not being mined and action wasn't being taken off of it. So we really got back to basics. And again, in that example, we were able to drive down incident reduction about 65%. We reduced our MTTR upwards of, or improved it upwards of 15%. And we were able then to kind of redirect that into the merger and the things that were important for the merge and for them to be competitive in the new digital landscape that was ahead of them. Another key thing and a key learning we had with this customer is once they saw what we were able to provide to the services we were providing to them, so the efficiencies, the improvements, they took that methodology and applied it to other parts of their IT operations that they were managing themselves in-house, and were able to learn from that. Okay? So those are some examples of Bionics and what it means to you, and to us, and to you as our customers. I now want to roll a quick video that brings it all together. So if we could, video please.
We all use many devices in our day-to-day lives, and when something doesn't work, it can lead to frustration and hours of lost productivity. At work, an IT issue such as a slow PC often leads to a call to the service desk. Sometimes, after several attempts to solve the problem, nothing works. The service desk has to escalate the issue. Meanwhile, you wait with increasing frustration and impact to your work schedule. Behind the scenes, your issue is volleyed between as many as 20 or more specialist teams, all with varying levels of knowledge and experience, each attempting to fix the problem. After several days, these teams have found no problem in their area of expertise. Finally, your issue reaches the right team, in this case, the network team, who in less than 30 minutes discovers a network issue. Ultimately, the resolution has now taken 3 full days. There is a better way. DXC is introducing a radically different approach to operating IT, using DXC Bionics, our digital generation services delivery model. This approach to intelligent automation leverages 3 elements: analytics and artificial intelligence, lean processes, and leading automation capabilities to produce greater insight, speed, and efficiency. Using DXC's industrialized delivery model, we start by retraining and reorganizing our specialist teams and applying the latest digital technologies. Instead of multiple different specialist teams, we reorganize people into smaller, multi-skilled teams. An issue like a slow PC is analyzed and resolved by the iAction team in under 1 hour, not 3 days. Then, the issue is passed to the iSolve team, who is trained in using the Bionics toolkit to fix the underlying root cause and prevent the issue from happening again on your PC. iSolve then passes the root cause fix to the iBuild team, who ensures that no one else will face the same issue. If there'd been a problem with the PC itself, any one of the teams could have passed the issue to our iFix field service teams, who are based on location. All teams are linked together by the toolkit's highly advanced analytics platform. It's monitoring the whole process in real time. We'll introduce this new model through small steps. We use analytics to identify the biggest issues to be fixed first. We'll then apply lean techniques to reorganize the teams into what we call an integrated delivery hub. As the process matures, we seek to reduce the amount of reactive or unplanned work and increase the proactive or planned work using Bionics to provide permanent, often automated resolutions to these kind of issues, so they don't happen again. As the integrated delivery hub matures, we'll then link it to our digital transformation centers. We call this a digital hub, creating a seamless link between the way teams change IT and the way IT is operated. Our Zero Ops ambition strives to eliminate reoccurring operational issues and ensure quality is built in from the start. Guided by DXC Bionics, this is true digital transformation, the smart path to automated, scalable success.
Okay, well, thanks for taking the time to watch that. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of how we bring it all together. I'm going to conclude here with just a couple of key points before I hand it over to David, who's going to take you through how we're applying Bionics into our Oracle offerings and our product portfolio. But some of the key things I want to leave you with are, first and foremost, this pivot to digital is not just about technology. Our workforce, the skills of our workforce, the culture in which our workforce operates in is first and foremost important. Secondly, it's not just about developing your own approach and technologies. In this environment that we live in today, it's about co-creation and leveraging reusable pieces and parts, leveraging the right partners, working with our customers as well, and creating new ways of working. The third piece of that is you don't have to invent the wheel yourself. So there are modular pieces and components that can be taken, that can be configured and put together. Avoid inventing the wheel, customizing on your own, and leverage the pieces that are out there. It will significantly reduce the complexity of your ongoing costs and the efficiency that you'll have going forward. And the fourth piece is don't just focus on automation or digital technologies for technology's sake. Ensure you always are looking at the business outcome and what's driving you to make the changes that are necessary. Okay, so with that, I'll ask David to come back out and he'll take you through our Oracle portfolio.
That's right. Good job. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. So, I mean, extremely interesting and really far-reaching impacts to what Greg talked about. And when you look at the paradigm that it's going to change in terms of the way we use analytics, the way we use robotics, it really is enabling our customers and everybody here to really drive a significant change to their business. So what we did is we looked at that internally and said, we as a service provider to our customers, how can we apply this same thought process, this same method, and this almost outside-in look to how we develop our products for you? So come back to Greg's point about customer experience. When we think customer experience, we think about you as our customers and how you interact with your customers, whether it be B2C or B2B. But you are our customers, and we have customers out there that we transform using Oracle technology and Oracle applications. So we really took that view and had a look internally and transformed our R&D teams to really look at the way that we provide tools and solutions for you to transform and your customer experience. So the days of transforming, 6, 9, 12-month transformation over to either an application or a technology stack, people coming in, consulting's coming in, professional services, change management. We wanted to change that organization structure for you and change the way we interact and change the way we developed our products. So we took a customer experience paradigm and said, how do we apply that to the way that we deploy and manage and drive our customers through a digital change? So think about, how do we build solution sets and accelerators, whether it's automation or analytics, I'm going to talk about those in a minute, and enable our customers to transform to SaaS or transform to infrastructure as a service using chatbot, using virtual assistants, using robotic process automation, not only to change the experience that you have but also provide some predictability and reduce risk and really drive down the cost and the time to change. So we took that approach within the R&D because DXC is really transforming itself as a digital company. And so that requires a change in our thought process of how we experience that customer, enable that customer experience for you in those transformations. How we enable our own employee and workforce, and that whole change management piece is something that we've experienced, and we now have that experience to really drive out to our customers. So we look at really the three stacks that we go through, and I'm going to go through each one of these. So you look at applications. So what we said was, how do we look at, when we go to a customer and we're looking at a SaaS application, Oracle ERP Cloud, Oracle HCM Cloud. There's a couple of different ways you can approach that from a transformation perspective. You can say, hey, we like everything we do today. We want to keep everything the same. Just put it on the cloud. Not really transformational. All you're doing is you're changing the wheels as you go. What we do is we provide on that first block there is we provide robotic process automation discovery as part of our implementation analysis up front that really looks at the true data of your business. And so what you can do is you can look at it, and we have some demos available for you guys that want to see them. It looks at your process flows from a transactional business perspective and says, hey, your processes go through 59 steps. You only think there's only 4. So let's talk about the outliers. Let's talk about the scenarios that drive that exception processing. And your exception processing represents 89% of your business. Use that information to drive a different conversation when you move to SaaS. Right? SaaS is all about going to core standard product, core standard processes. So the resistance to change conversation becomes more predictable. So we can now put ourselves in your shoes, see your process, see your data, and actually have a perspective that says, I know you designed this 4 or 5 years ago to do X, Y, Z, but you're doing 29 or 30 steps. And these exception areas in Asia Pac or these exception areas in Europe are driving the business metric that you can't see with all the clutter. So we said, okay, that's a distinctive piece of business that we need to bring to your attention from a customer experience, right? So when we come to see you, it's not a case of you just need to go to SaaS because that's what Oracle tells you to do. It's here's a particular example, business process owner, CFO, this is a problem within your business. And this is the data, this is not hypothetical. This is the data that represents that. So it's now become a more predictable conversation. It's more analytical. We're using that analytics to really drive that conversation out to change the business. Okay? Second piece about going to SaaS is really the second piece that Greg talked about, which is all about AI and AI-driven. So talked about the analytics piece for robotic process automation. Going to SaaS from an application stack, we are in the process of really fleshing out the last component pieces of a remote digital assistant-based migration tool from on-prem to SaaS. So rather than having somebody talk to you and sit down, question, what do you want to do? We now have the ability to really drive an AI discussion with the business, remote, in your own time, that drives what do you want to do, how do you want to be structured, et cetera, through a Q&A kind of approach, remote, through chat, through text, that then correlates that information, assigns an AI engine algorithms, and pulls through that data based on previous, looks at the robotic process automation data discovery that you've done and provides a recommendation of how to configure SaaS. Predictability, AI. And then the last piece is all around data. SaaS is going to be great. If you don't have any data in it, it's kind of pointless. So what we've done is also in conjunction with some partners, our new acquired company in Australia, really driven a conversation to structure and cleanse data in conjunction with configuration of that AI engine so that we can actually push AI configuration to SaaS and data cleansed and structured to SaaS. Predictable customer experience, right, shorter time frame, higher quality. So we talk about infrastructure. Infrastructure, and Greg talked about ITSM and operations and DevOps management, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But really, when we talk about infrastructure, I think move and improve is the phrase that's used, the lift and shift. How do we take that automation out of that? How do we take the automation and drive automation into that to drive out any complexity? And to give you an example, I'm going to go through these in a minute. We did a proof of concept of provisioning Hyperion manually. So that's DNS, secure certificates, OS configurations, et cetera, et cetera. Elapsed time, 1,500 hours. We did a POC to drive that through robotic process automation based on task, 2.5 hours. So massive amount of reduction in time from an elapsed time perspective, massive amount of reduction in time from either a consulting managed service provider or from your own internal IT organization. So now we've got speed, predictability, and we've got the ability to manage that process through robotic and alert and everything else. So based on that provisioning, so that's the provisioning and shaping, we also have built robotic process to migrate workloads. So how do you migrate workloads that are repeatable? How do you do run test? How do you do repeatable process? How do you then put on analytics onto that large database farm, large processes going on at once to migrate those database workloads? How do you put analytics on top of that to drive a perspective that lets you look at best practice and change those robotics as you go so that you can really get the best efficient process out of the migration that you have? And lastly, Greg talked a little bit about management. I'm going to take this down to the Oracle application and database and stack perspective. We provide large run and maintain either a legacy or SaaS application and technology stack. So, ITSM and SLA-based services as a managed service provider. For us, that is not a reinvent the wheel for the customer every time. It's how do we use the platform that Greg talked about. How do we enable that within our delivery organizations so that we can give you a better customer experience? Enable you to be digital. Enable you to have the foundation that says, hey, I can do this. I don't need to spend all my time worrying about this. It's in a predictable way that I have analytics, and I'm churning through change fast enough to keep in pace with the business model that I have in place and I want to move forward with. So we've really taken the model that Greg went through. We've really distilled it down into the customer experience that we see as we try and drive a change for our customers and our clients through this transformation. And Greg talked about on his process, I kind of joke with him backstage, he's got his slide is up there is about rinse and repeat. It's the fix it now, work through the process, repeat. The way that we've structured the offering development, we've done that for ourselves, right? So we're incrementally now in the R&D cycles providing incremental releases extremely quickly using Agile and using robotic process automation so that we can say, hey, if you come to us as a customer and say, I'd like to do this, it's not a 6-9 month wait, right? So we're driving that to our business. We're driving that in the way we think. We're digitally trying to transform our own company so that we can serve our customers and our clients a lot more effectively. So like that, I'd like to just have a quick watch of a video for national pharmacies as an example of innovation at work.
Innovation is key to our strategic plan. We see innovation as a disruptor with our competitors and also with our consumer to get their attention. So this new project's been a catalyst for us to change our strategy. Making it easy for our consumer is our primary goal. DXC is now a trusted partner in national pharmacies. We whiteboard ideas together and we take those ideas together and form action plans to deliver projects in the same way we delivered our initial project.
National pharmacies have got some big plans in relation to their use of innovation. They've been around for well over 100 years. They're going to be here for another 100 years, and we would like to be working alongside them the whole way.
Going forward, we would love to continue to leverage DXC with their global footprint, their innovation that they brought to our project, and use that innovation in future projects and future challenges that we have.